Hey guys, my name is Sandy Giff. I'm a licensed realtor here in the Central Florida area and also a loan originator licensed. Today I want to do a video for you on what happens to your mortgage in a recession. Well, let's dig into that. Today is March 13, 2025. We are in a crazy market right now. Interest rates are kind of high. Home prices are high. The economy is might be going into a recession or not. We don't know. And there's a lot of speculation on the market. People are now don't want to spend too much. People are being more frugal right now. They're saving their money because they're not sure what's going to happen. People don't want to really buy, and that's what's going on. So what's a recession? What is a recession like? So let's explore what is not a recession. So when the economy is flourishing and blooming and people are spending like we saw right after COVID in 2020, the later part of 2020, 2021, a little bit of 2022, everything is good. People are spending, they're vacationing, people are buying homes, interest rates are low, and so that's awesome. Now on the flip side of that is where we get a recession. So on a recession is where the economy is kind of stale. People do not want to spend. People are scared. Unemployment is really high. People are getting let go. Companies are closing down. Real estate is kind of declining. Interest rates are higher and people don't want to spend. So during a recession, if you have a fixed rate mortgage, it will always remain the same because nothing is going to affect your mortgage rate because it's fixed. However, if you have an adjustable rate mortgage, that's where the problem comes in because the adjustable rate adjusts with the Federal Reserve Index. So the Federal Reserve is going to set a rate, and then lenders typically lend based off of that rate. That's why they say a lot of things have to do with the Feds, right? So if you have a fixed mortgage though, and you lost your job, then how are you going to pay your mortgage? Or if you have an adjustable rate mortgage and it adjusts higher, like way higher, because typically adjustable rate mortgages start off lower than the market rate and then they kind of decline, increase based upon the federal index. So how do we go around that? How is this going to affect us? Well, back in 08, 09, 010, 2010, when the market crashed, a lot of banks were doing short sales or loan modification and all that stuff if you had the patience for it, right? So how does that work out with, okay, so now I lost my job and I have my mortgage to pay. Some people will rent out rooms in their home. Some people at that time went and rented something and actually rented their house and then went to pay a lower rent somewhere where they could afford it. That's actually another choice. But during a recession, people are scared to spend, right? So there's no spending going on in the economy, which sometimes lead to lower real estate prices, so lower housing prices, and sometimes the Fed will lower the interest rate just to try to stimulate some kind of a spending in the economy. Because if people are not spending, nothing is going to happen. And they know that real estate is a leader in people spending. Because think about it. If you were to buy a house, you're going to probably get new flooring, new cabinetry, a new car maybe, new furniture. Like everything is affected by someone buying a home. And the more people buying a home, the better. And even if it's new construction, you're going to new construction home, you want new furniture, you want a new car, you don't want the carpet anymore, you're going to take out the carpet if you happen to get carpeted in the house, you're going to do flooring, all this great stuff. So a recession may not be a bad thing because a lot of times with recession sometimes, if we're heading into one, prices are going to come down on a lot of different things because right now prices are super high. Everything is high. Eggs, let's not talk about eggs. Everything, rent, real estate prices. You go to the supermarket, what you could buy for $100 nowadays is probably going to fit in probably 2 bags now, whereas $100 you normally come up with bags. And even Dollar Tree is not dollar anymore, it's $1.25 and more. Because now I start to go into Dollar Tree, I'm seeing stuff for more than $1.25, right? So what does that mean, right? So if you have a fixed rate mortgage and your job is intact, then you still have to be able to afford everything because the price of food may affect you paying your mortgage or your household bills. How does that work? So nobody really wants to go in a recession, right? But if we were to go in one, it's going to be the opposite of what a good flourishing economy is. And as more and more companies start to close down, or is being threatened to close down, or they're getting rid of stuff, because once recession starts to set in, the first thing a business is going to do is going to let go of their staff, right? They're going to cut payroll. I mean, there's no way around it. That's the first thing they're going to cut. They're going to cut payroll even before they cut marketing. Marketing they'll cut eventually, but because they're going to have to try to now market more to get more people in, offering different kind of discounts and stuff to get more people in. So this is a great question, and it depends individual to individual. And that's why one of the reasons why in one of my other videos I was saying, if you're going to look to buy now, then you should probably look into multifamily, which people don't like because they want to have their own home. But now may not be a bad time to do multifamily, where you have other people also paying your mortgage. You live on one side and other people are helping you to pay your mortgage by paying your rent. Also, buying in a recession market may not be a bad idea, because if you're in a recession, home prices are going to be lower, interest rates may be higher, and sellers might be more negotiable to sell their property. But one thing is for sure, in a recession market, cash buyers are king. So if you're buying cash in a recession market, you're going to definitely get a whole better deal than somebody trying to finance. So that's also something to explore. And what's something to think about is, maybe it's not a bad time to buy in a recession market, because you're going to get a better deal, and you might ultimately get a better interest rate, because the interest rate, once the market starts to stagnate, they're going to have no other choice but to lower interest rate to try to get some flowing back in the market. And because people are not going to buy cars either. It's not just the real estate market. It's also cars and loans and any other financing there is, because everything is affected by interest rates, right? So they're going to have to lower the interest rate to stimulate the economy. And when that starts to happen, that would be a great time to buy, because then you're going to get a home at a lower price, at a lower rate. That was the case back in the later part of 2020 into 2021. I don't know why I'm repeating my letters like that. So that's something to consider. Another thing to consider is to make yourself recession proof. Then you need to put more money down when you purchase, obviously. But if you can't do that, then maybe you want to consider buying a multifamily. FHA will give a loan of 3.5% down payment up to a 4-family unit, guys. Don't forget, up to a 4-family unit is still considered residential. So a single one-unit home, 2-unit home, 3-unit home, up to a 4-unit home is still considered residential as of right now of this video. There's so much things changing. I don't know if that's going to change. I hope they don't change it. So you can also look into that as well, based upon the city that you're in. But if you have a fixed rate mortgage, you don't have to worry about it. If you have an adjustable rate mortgage, now might be the time to either refinance into a fixed rate mortgage or sell the home and buy something else into a fixed rate, because interest rate will fluctuate. And if we're gradually going into a recession, interest rates are going to gradually get higher, and then they're going to start lowering them. But at the point of lowering them, we have no idea where they're going to be lowered from. Are they being lowered from 9%? And so 7% is now the new low. I don't know if we'll ever see the 2 to 3 to 4% interest rates anymore, because typically 5 to 7% is typically where interest rates normally lie on a regular steady market, right? The 2 to 4%, because of COVID, they were trying to stimulate the market. Let's compare that. Let's say interest rate got to 9%, and for them to start to stimulate the market, it dropped back to 7%. Would that then still be considered high? It depends, right? So maybe this is not a high interest rate if they continue to go up, but maybe this is a high interest rate if they continue to go down. So let's say it's at 7% and they lower it to 5%. That's still great. But we don't know. These are all gambles that we're taking. So the one thing I will say to you is, if you have an adjustable rate mortgage, try to get out of it and get into a fixed rate mortgage, because it's going to affect the fluctuation of stuff for sure. If you have a fixed rate mortgage and you have a secure job and everything is going good, then you don't have to worry about anything. However, if you have a fixed rate mortgage and you probably lost your job, or you're on the verge of losing it, or you're thinking of cutting staff, then you might want to consider either renting parts of your home if it's possible to do that, or maybe selling that home and buying a multifamily home where all the mortgage is not on you, or maybe thinking about doing different things to cut costs, right? Maybe if your kids are in, and I don't want to say this, but maybe you could cut some activities if that your kids are doing. Maybe there's some social events you don't really need to be going to. These are some things you got to really sit down and explore right now. What are things you could cut from the budget and what is non-negotiable, right? Your children's schooling can't be negotiable because they have to go to school, right? They have to eat. You have to eat. So what is negotiable? And even if you're in a fixed rate mortgage and everything is hunky-dory, maybe now might be the time to start saving and actually cutting out stuff and cutting back on things, since we have no idea where the economy is headed, right? I hope this helps, guys. I thank you for watching and listening. If you want to explore this idea or anything else, feel free to give us a call or send us a text. Number should be somewhere up on the screen or somewhere down below. Remember to subscribe to our channel and remember to click the little notification bell so you'll be notified every time we have a new video coming. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you on the next video.